afternoon, everyone, and welcome to News 3 Live at 4 on this Monday. Hope you all had a good weekend.
Welcome back.
Sick for, yes, I actually had the flu.
Now, not the flu that we all got vaccinated for, right?
I went to the doctor, they actually did the flu test. I had influenza B.
Oh, boy. I've heard that's going around like wildfire.
And coincidentally, Dr. Zorba Pastor will be along today
Yeah.
to take your medical questions coming up, so we'll talk to him about that. I maybe sound worse than I feel.
Yeah, that's good. You feel better. You still sound a little stuffed up, but considering flu, it's good to have you back.
102 fever.
Oh, no.
It's good to be back.
Yeah, good, very good.
So here's what's making news on this Monday. A Dane County judge is hearing arguments right now on whether he should throw out laws Republicans passed during the lame duck session.
Lodi is cleaning up from last week's flooding while floodwaters continue to drown parts of Nebraska.
And the daughter of John McCain fires back after President Trump continues to attack her late father.
Let's take a look outside today. Boy, it felt like spring, didn't it?
It
nice
really
sunshine. Oh, look at that shot from overnight. That's beautiful.
Big moon out there? Or is that the sun with a filter? Who knows? Enjoying the sunshine is the question of the day, and Chris Reese is in the backyard with the answer.
Yeah, I think a lot of folks have been enjoying the sunshine. I can't speak for everyone, but I know I myself have enjoyed the warmer temperatures and the blue skies that we do have outside right now. Temperature-wise, a lot of us are in the low and mid-40s, 44 degrees as of the last update here at the airport in Madison. Winds out of the northwest at 12 miles per hour, so we still do have that northwest breeze. Janesville is at 45 right now, and it looks like all of us are in the low 40s this afternoon. So, congratulations. We're certainly feeling that luck of the Irish the day after St. Patrick's Day. We zoom out across the upper Midwest. You see a lot of 40s and even upper 40s just to our south. Still, even to the north, some of us are still in the upper 30s and low 40s. So, no one's excluded from those warmer temperatures, and we all are in the sunshine as well. There's a little bit of higher cloud cover across parts of western Iowa and Minnesota. That's starting to work its way on in. That could impact our sky conditions as we head into tomorrow just a little bit. But for the rest of this evening, do expect plenty of sunshine and really just fair weather to go around, especially through the next couple of hours or so. Those temperatures will be falling back through the 30s as we head into your dinner time hours and eventually into the mid-20s overnight tonight. But we're all counting down to true spring, now just 2 days away, and our forecast is truly going to resemble one of spring as we go further through the next extended outlook here. I do want to go ahead and show you guys traffic. This is the Beltline at Todd Drive right now. So far, things are moving along well. We've been watching the traffic patterns throughout the day. A few slowdowns downtown. The biggest slowdown really is outside of downtown. That's right at University and Midvale Boulevard by the traffic lights there. Zooming out across Dane County, there is one stalled vehicle on the east side, and then of course near Lodi and Lake Wisconsin, we still have some road closures there that you'll want to make sure that you are mindful of. But otherwise, we'll keep track of that rush hour as folks begin to head home on this Monday.
In the sunshine.
In the sunshine,
All right,
yes.
Chris, we'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. First at 4, a lawyer for the Republican-controlled state legislature is trying to convince a Dane County judge to dismiss the case challenging lame duck laws.
The laws were signed by former Governor Scott Walker last year and strip power away from the current governor and attorney general. The lawsuit alleges that state lawmakers convened last year illegally, but the attorney representing the legislature says by that logic, everything ever passed during an extraordinary session would be considered null and void, which would include dozens of laws. Lawmakers are trying to get the lawsuit thrown out, and their attorneys have been arguing this for the past 2 hours. Our Rose Schmidt is there in court and will bring us the judge's decision if and when it comes.
Flooding remains a major concern for areas along the Missouri River in Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, and Nebraska. Flood records have been shattered and more are expected this week. The flooding has already killed 2 people in Nebraska and 1 man in Iowa. More than 8 million people are under flood warnings, in part because of the rapid melting of ice and snow. The big concern now is floodwater draining downstream, getting to communities that can't take much more. Dry weather here over the weekend was very good news for local communities dealing with flooding.
Lodi was one of the many areas that were hit hard by the snow melt and rainfall last week, and Eric Franke gives us an update on how things are looking there right now. And Eric's in the studio joining us. Eric?
Mark and Susan, the images out of Lodi last week were pretty shocking. First responders, of course, We're asking people to stay out of the city. There was a state of emergency. Damage to furnaces caused natural gas issues. Now the recovery is underway. It'll take some work, though. The majority of that impact felt by businesses on South Main Street, many of which don't have flood insurance. However, home and business owners are encouraged to report flood damage to the Columbia County Office of Emergency Management, which is working on applying for public assistance to help offset the costs of the damage.
We'll try for some of the relief money. I understand Columbia County filed as a disaster area, so now the question is whether or not we can tap into any of that. If we can, great. If not, what do? Smile and move on, you know.
The Lodi and Lake Wisconsin Chambers of Commerce estimate 10 to 12 businesses were affected by this flooding. And Spring Creek at Lodi crested at 9 feet on Thursday. That shattered the previous high of 8.4 feet, which was set back in 2008. Today, it is back under 5 feet, and the dry weather in the forecast, at least until the weekend, will only help. Mark and Susan?
String of dry days.
Yeah, we need it, right?
Very
Absolutely.
good news. All right, thanks, Eric.
You're welcome.
A man opened fire on a tram in the Dutch city of Utrecht, killing 3 people and injuring 5. Police arrested a 37-year-old Turkish-born man, Gökmen Tanis, and say the attack may have been motivated by terrorism. The shooting coming 3 days after an attack on a mosque in New Zealand, which set off alarms in Europe. Authorities in the Netherlands have increased security across the country.
The Prime Minister of New Zealand is vowing to change her country's gun laws in the wake of 2 mass shootings that killed more than 50 people. First responders fought back tears as they returned to one of the 2 mosques in Christchurch, where a gunman opened fire on worshippers last Friday. Mourners in New Zealand continue to honor the dead at a makeshift memorial outside of the Al Noor Mosque. Some of the dead were children. The youngest was just 3 years old. A suspected white supremacist has been charged with murder. By law, the 28-year-old's face had to be blurred in court.
There was a river of blood coming out of the mosque. And that's a scene that you don't forget.
We can bring in effective regulation of firearms that actually target those that we need to target, and that is our focus.
The suspect has apparently fired his lawyer and plans to represent himself. Some fear he'll use his murder trial as a platform for his white nationalist beliefs.
Meghan McCain furiously defended her father and fired back at President Trump after the president tweeted attacks against the late Senator John McCain over the weekend. Nicole Killian is at the White House.
The daughter of the late Senator John McCain fired back at President Trump Monday on ABC's The View.
Your life is spent on your weekends, not with your family, not with your friends, but obsessing over great men you could never live up to.
McCain's response comes after President Trump blasted her father in 2 tweets over the weekend. In one of those tweets, the president accused McCain of trying to distribute a Russian dossier to the press before the 2016 election. The controversial memos allege conspiracy between the Trump campaign and Russia. McCain gave the dossier to the FBI after the election.
John McCain is an American hero.
John McCain's longtime friend and Trump ally, Senator Lindsey Graham, defended the late Arizona senator's handling of the dossier at an event in South Carolina.
I told President Trump that when it comes to John McCain, I think he acted responsibly.
White House officials are offering praise to the late Republican senator while also trying to steer the conversation away from the president's tweets.
I will always respect and applaud Senator McCain's service to this country. I think what the president wants folks to focus on there is just the origins of the dossier.
Senator McCain passed away 7 months ago after battling brain cancer. In Washington, Nicole Killian for News 3 Now.
The president also tweeted a dig at the late Senator John McCain over his thumbs down no vote in the Senate against a bill to repeal parts of the Affordable Care Act.
New York Senator Kirsten Gillibrand officially kicked off her 2020 presidential campaign Sunday.
I'm running for president, and it's why I'm asking you for your support.
There are now 14 Democrats officially on the campaign trail, and a 15th came very close to declaring his candidacy this weekend.
The most progressive record of anybody running for the United, if anybody who would run. I didn't mean. But anybody who would run.
President Trump is already eyeing his potential opponents, taking aim at Joe Biden this morning. In a tweet, he wrote Joe Biden got tongue-tied over the weekend when he was unable to properly deliver a very simple line about his decision to run for president. Get used to it, another low IQ individual. Anyone who enters the race will need a lot of money to keep up with newly declared candidate Beto O'Rourke. The former Texas congressman's campaign announced a record-breaking $6.1 million within the first 24 hours of entering the race.
That's a lot of money. We have a late word from Rose Schmidt, who is covering that lame duck court hearing downtown. The court has recessed, and the judge has not made a decision today. So that is the latest from downtown.
Still to come tonight at 4, it's time to start filling out your Final Four brackets.
Our Jay Wilson breaks down Bucky's bracket when Live at 4 continues.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
Well, Shopko announced Monday it'll be closing all of its remaining stores.
The Green Bay-based company said despite its best efforts, it was unable to find a buyer. The company will be winding down its retail operations at its last 120 stores starting this week. Shopko officials say the company is evaluating strategic options for its optical business. The company says it will not move forward with the auction that it previously contemplated, and Gordon Brothers will oversee a liquidation process that is expected to conclude 10 to 12 weeks from now.
A boost from bank stocks sent Wall Street higher today. The Dow Industrials added 65 points, closing at 25,914. The NASDAQ Composite Index gained nearly 26, and the S&P 500 was up 10. Well, billionaire investor Warren Buffett wants to give somebody $1 million a year for the rest of their life. But there is a catch. The Berkshire Hathaway CEO is once again holding a March Madness men's college basketball bracket contest. The rules are simple. Anyone who can pick the last 16 teams in the tournament will win $1 million a year for life. But to play, you have to be an employee at Berkshire Hathaway. About 100,000 employees completed brackets in previous years. Last year, not a single worker won the contest. In fact, none of them got past the first round of the 68-team tourney.
Yeah, there were a lot of upsets last year. Remember that?
Bracket busters.
Yeah.
And the Badgers are headed to the NCAA tournament after a one-year hiatus.
Wisconsin is the number 4 seed in the South and will face 12th-seeded Oregon Friday in San Jose, California. Sports director Jay Wilson is back with us. Hi, Jay.
Hi. You know when the last time local sports expert won a bracket? 1987.
You won the bracket?
I won the bracket. I won the pool when Keith Smart hit the winning shot against Syracuse for Indiana.
1987.
1987.
So you're due.
My hair was dark, and it was
we
a great
were all
time.
a lot younger.
Yeah. But this is our Final Four. This year's in Minneapolis. I just want to show you. I was going to show you the logo because it's got the forest of Minnesota. It's got the land of 10,000 lakes. It's a nice
Very nice.
Anyway,
all right, so what do we have here?
Well, here's the South region. This is the region that Wisconsin is in. You see they're part of the bracket. I mean, there's more teams down here in the South, but we're going to go through what we think might happen.
Okay.
Like we did last week when.
And you were right.
Thank you. Thanks for bringing that. I didn't.
He was waiting for that.
He was waiting for that.
Cue the anchor. Okay. Number one seed Virginia. Last year they played the 16 seed UMBC, and guess what happened? First time in the history of the tournament, 16 beat 1. Guess what's going to happen this year?
Virginia's going to win.
Excellent. Virginia's going to win, as they should. And Tony Bennett's team, Tony Bennett, the former Badger assistant coach, I mean, they're fantastic. They've got a really good shot of going to the Final Four.
Okay.
Mississippi, Oklahoma.
I don't know.
Oklahoma, where the wind comes for no reason, because I pick Oklahoma.
Okay.
Now, Wisconsin, Oregon. Everybody's picking Oregon.
Yeah, is this a tough draw for the Badgers?
Well, it's a curious draw because Wisconsin could have been a 4 seed, but they slipped to a 5. And, they've had their moments where they haven't looked so good at times. They've been fairly inconsistent, although they've won 12 of their last 16 games, surprisingly.
They didn't look great on Saturday.
They didn't look great on Saturday. And Oregon was bad for most of the year. Their best player, Bol is his name, big tall guy.
What is it?
Bol. Remember Manute Bol?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's his son.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but he got hurt, so he's not even playing. So Oregon was not having a great year. All of a sudden, they've won 8 in a row. They won the conference tournament. They won 4 games in 4 days to win the Pac-12 tournament. But the Pac-12 isn't
kind of weak.
Yeah, isn't so hot this year. Okay. So it's hard to figure. I mean, they're certainly in an up direction, but I don't think they're in an up enough direction. I think Wisconsin. I'm going to go against all the so-called experts and say Wisconsin.
So you do know the way to San Jose.
I do. I asked Greg Gard, have you heard Dionne Warwick's? He didn't know.
Oh, you're kidding.
He had never heard it. Yeah. Generation. He's a young guy, I guess, or something like that.
Finally?
So I think Wisconsin goes, and I'll just take Kansas State because.
Why not?
They're better. Although their best player was in a walking boot the other day, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, so that gets us to Friday.
This is Friday?
Yep, Friday. Badgers play about 3:30 on TBS.
Okay.
This is the Sunday bracket, if all that goes according to Hoyle. Virginia, Oklahoma. I think Virginia's going to the Final Four by the time it's all said and done.
Really?
And we talked about inconsistency. I think inconsistency might get the Badgers here.
This could be a tough game. Very tough game.
Yeah,
they're pretty good, Kansas State.
Yeah, and that's why they're a 4 seed. But if Wisconsin, Bo Ryan told me a long time ago, he stole it from some other coach. He said, as long as you make shots, you win.
The team that makes the most shots
And quite
wins.
frankly, it's as simple as that. If the Badgers can shoot 45% from the field,
and they have,
they'll win. And they have. Now, can they do it twice in a row? We'll find out.
All right.
Final Four is on CBS this year, by the way.
Oh, that's exciting.
That's nice.
That's exciting.
So you're heading out to California.
Yeah, Kevin Lewis and I will be leaving Wednesday, and we'll start reporting on Thursday.
We'll see you here on Thursday.
You got it.
Safe travels, sir.
All right.
Thanks, Jay.
Thanks.
Well, still to come at 4, you order a lot of things online only to return them?
Well, those days may be coming to an end. Some retailers are cracking down now on repeat returners. We'll find out what's going on coming up after Chris's forecast.
Take a look at this. An 11-year-old boy in London has become a social media sensation after showing off his soccer skills on a fast-moving treadmill. In a video filmed by his mother, Ramel Carter displays amazing dribbling and ball control as the treadmill gets faster and faster. Carter is currently playing for the Tottenham Hotspur Youth Academy alongside producing social content for his Instagram and YouTube channels.
Remember that name. He's going to be a big star.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's very impressive. Well, it has been some time since we checked in with the Decorah Eagles.
You may remember years ago we traveled to the Iowa town and did our show about the internet's most famous bird couples. Well, our friends at the Raptor Research Project in Decorah have a new set of cameras aimed at the nest, and the quality of the video, quite amazing.
Life hasn't been easy on the nest this season. Heavy snowstorms interfered with the laying of the eggs. The first one was laid on February 22nd, the second on the 26th, and the third on March 2nd. Unfortunately, one of the eggs did break on the 11th. Watchers really don't know how or why, so now mom is laying on 2 eggs. Hatching is now expected to be 35 to 39 days from now. So you can just search Decorah Eagles, and the link will come up.
The new camera is unbelievable. Here's a live picture, by the way, so you can not get a thing done all day long at work and watch this.
And they actually have 2 cameras from both angles, and
Right.
they go back and forth between them. It is fascinating.
They're crystal clear, the shots are beautiful, and it's a much better view than when we were in Decorah, remember?
Right. Well, that's the reservoir where they go on hunting. We did
Right.
the show right down there on that road.
Right. You talking to me? Look at her.
Look at her. She is on the constant alert.
Yeah.
Eagle eyes.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So hopefully
cool
we'll
stuff
update it occasionally. And
Yeah, absolutely.
Once they hatch, we'll see the little ones.
Yeah.
If the weather will be warmer.
Yes, no snow there. Looks
A
pretty
whole
nice.
month from now, yeah.
Look
Things
pretty nice
are
in
already
Decorah.
trending warmer right now. Plenty of sunshine out there, and I think the forecast coming up, even though it has some rain chances in it, it's overall just a beautiful forecast. I can't wait to share it with you coming up. Well, we've seen the sunshine all day for your Monday. Still a little bit more in the way of cloud cover developing in some spots. Overall, things are still full of sunshine. This is looking over Picnic Point right now. A few clouds on the horizon. Temperature-wise, things are mainly in the 40s for a lot of folks. 44 as you work your way towards Madison. Juneau still in the 30s at 38 right now. Fond du Lac at 39. We go down towards Janesville. It's 45, 44 in Platteville as well. Winds still coming out of the north and west at about 12 miles per hour. But here's what's special about that number 44. That is actually where our temperature should be for this time of the year. So we made it to a high of 44. That is normal for your high. We did start off a couple degrees below average this morning at 22. Back in 2012, we made it all the way to 81. So things could certainly be much warmer, but that is, of course, where we should be. Now, as we go through the next 12 hours, these temperatures are going to come down a little bit, starting to level out right around midnight or so, right around 30 degrees, and then we'll gradually shave a couple more degrees off each and every hour as we head towards tomorrow morning. Expect those overnight lows to be in the mid-20s. This is visible cloud track, though. We had that one wave of thicker cloud cover move through earlier this morning. Since then, it has just been decorator clouds that have gotten a little bit bigger with the afternoon. I call this decorator clouds for the sake of convection. They're essentially clouds that form with the rising air, but we are not looking at any rain or snow that is going to be falling out of these clouds. Still, things are going to be great as we go through the rest of the afternoon and evening. Here's a bigger picture showing you those clouds and how they just pop up into the afternoon and evening. You can also see parts of northwestern Wisconsin and southeastern Minnesota where there's still just a little bit more in the way of snow on the ground. Thicker cloud cover is well back to the west right now with the weak disturbance coming in. Overall high pressure is staying in control, though, so that's going to keep things dry and keep that sunshine around as we go through the next couple of days. Expect that region of high pressure to slide over towards the eastern seaboard and another region of low pressure to develop across the plains as well. That is going to allow warmer temperatures to work their way northward as we go through the middle of the week and towards the end of the week as well. Again, tonight, expect those lows to come down into the 20s. We'll see some cloud cover earlier, but as the sun sets, that'll turn off, and I do think we'll have mainly clear skies overnight tonight, perhaps a few clouds out there. Into tomorrow, we'll see really the same thing that we saw out there today. Expect those temperatures topping out into the upper 40s. Some of us may actually be lucky enough to see those temperatures into the lower 50s. Into Wednesday, we have a chance to keep those overnight lows above freezing. It depends on how soon we get some of that cloud cover in here. If that happens faster, we will stay a little bit warmer. If it's slower to do so, our temperatures will drop down into the 20s, which is what we're expecting to happen as of now. By lunchtime on Wednesday, temperatures will be into the mid-40s and gradually warming up, and I think we have a shot at hitting 50 on Wednesday as well. The reason for that, mild temperatures will be over the western half of the country, but watch what happens as our cold air begins to retreat. We essentially deal with milder temperatures growing throughout the country, initially starting to settle in down south, but watch as this cold air starts to work its way towards western Canada. We really get those milder temperatures building in to the central part of the country. So these are just modeled temperatures, the same models that we use to make our forecast. So this right here is a forecast, but it's just a model. And watch what it does with some of these temperatures, especially as we get you towards next week over parts of the country. I mean, we're talking 60s and 70s, perhaps for a lot of folks. It even tries to bring in the 90s towards Texas. So I do think we will certainly get that surge of warmer temperatures over the next 6 to 10 days, with temperatures going above average, probably around 50 towards 60 degrees as we go through time. And the good news is that's going to be coming with plenty of sunshine as well. Your first day of spring on Wednesday looks rather fantastic. 60 degrees and sunshine for your Saturday with the slightest chance of rain that will come in late. I think the better rain chances are going to come in Sunday night into Monday, and then temperatures really staying in the 50s for the next several days. So things are looking great.
Good long dry spell. That's what we need.
Yes, we really need it, especially for the places that have been flooded and whatnot. Mark, earlier you made the joke not to put your shovel away, but let's just hang on to what we have out there.
I'm not jinxing. I'm leaving it out.
So yeah, leave it out.
All right, Chris. Thank you.
Anytime.
Well, online shopping has changed the retail business, and people are sending items back more often than ever.
But if you constantly return purchases, some companies may want to cut you off as a customer. Janet Shamlian reports from Garland, Texas.
Welcome to the land of buyer's remorse. This Texas warehouse is the size of 2 football fields, and just about everything in it is something someone changed their mind about. 400 truckloads a week, bikes, large appliances, clothing, and electronics. All of it then goes up for sale or auction online. Sites like liquidation.com and secondipity.com.
Every box we open or every pallet we open, you never know what's going to be in it.
Ryan Johnson of Liquidity Services, a major player in the almost $400 billion business of flipping returns.
Why don't the retailers resell it themselves?
A lot of it is box damage. And so if you go in and you want to pay full price at a retailer, you want it in pristine condition.
And handling returns themselves cuts into a store's profits. Free shipping and liberal return policies have made it easy to get a refund for almost anything. 11% of all purchases are returned. Many stores track how much merchandise a customer returns, sometimes denying future returns based on their history. Consumer advocates like Ed Mirzinski are concerned that data is increasingly being shared among retailers, creating a database of serial returners.
I encourage any consumer who's been denied the right to return a product because some database they didn't know about said to the company, don't let him return that product. You should complain to the Federal Trade Commission.
Best Buy discloses its tracking policy in fine print on the customer's receipt. Some stores don't.
Everybody's always looking for this. And
the business of customer returns, as the marketplace allows fickle shoppers the chance to change their minds.
Janet Shamlian, CBS News.
That's very interesting, but you likely won't know if you've returned too many things until a seller will refuse to take it back.
So
then you'll know you're on the list.
Don't order 10 pairs of shoes and bring 9 back.
Exactly, right.
They don't like that. Well, when we come back, it's time to meet our pet of the week.
Marissa DeGroot from the Dane County Humane Society is here. She brought Toby this afternoon. We'll meet him when Live at 4 continues. I don't know. They're checking to see how open the water is. Still a lot of ice on Lake Mendota.
Yeah, I wouldn't go out on it, though. All right, it's time to meet Potentially Yours here on Live at 4. Marissa DeGroot from the Dane County Humane Society is here. Welcome to you.
Hi, Marissa. Who'd you bring today?
This handsome guy here is Toby.
Hi,
and
Toby.
He could not be any sweeter.
He's like well, we can't see him because the thing is there.
The little rascal's dog.
I know. He's got this classic look, and I absolutely love his personality because he is one laid-back boy.
What do we think he is?
He's some sort of blue heeler lab mix, but this is full grown for him. He's actually just on that verge of being a senior. He's about 7.5, 8 years old.
He's got a great smile.
I know.
I love that look.
I know.
So you say he's pretty chill?
Yep, this is about as excited as Toby gets.
How are you?
So he's looking for a great home where, you know, he's still an active enough guy where he wants to go out for some nice walks, but maybe if you have a nice couch you can curl up on, maybe snuggle up on a lap.
Oh, that's perfect.
And he came from down south. We don't know if he gets along with other dogs' kids.
He came up from a shelter down in Alabama, and you know, I think as long as he has a nice slow introduction, if you do have other pets in the house, he is just kind of a chill guy.
And this is quite an indication here.
Yes,
because
look at how comfortable he is.
there's a lot going on here.
And he's just snoozing.
Dennis, he's not going to look at you. He's done.
Oh, that's so sweet.
All right, it is Pet Poison Prevention Week.
It is, and so we wanted to talk a little bit about some of the most common things that pets can get into in your house that are dangerous for them. It's you know, your human prescription meds, some foods, and a lot of people know about, you know, chocolate and gum, but there are even things like raisins and grapes that can be dangerous for your pets.
I saw avocados on the list.
Yep,
that's a new one
avocados.
for me.
And so ASPCA has a really good list of all the different things around your house that might be poisonous to your pets, as well as a 24-hour a hotline number you can call if you think your pet has ingested anything, but also
great.
just call your local vet too.
And the human prescriptions, I mean, people don't think of that. Not all are good for or work for pets.
Yep, you got to make sure, even just like you keep those things safe from kids in the house, got to make sure that all those, you know, household cleaners, prescription meds are safe from your pets too.
All right, how about our pet from last week?
Oh my gosh, our pet from last week did get adopted. Mr. Joey Ruler has been with us for so long. We were so excited for him.
Oh, that's great news.
That is great news. Named after office supplies.
Office supplies, yeah. Had a sister Savannah protractor who went home too.
All right, let's get Toby a home here. Go to the website giveshelter.org for information on him and all the animals available. 838-0413. What do you think, Toby? What do you think?
So sweet.
Time for naps.
Yeah.
What a great
what a
dog.
Sweet guy.
Let's get him a home. All right, Marissa, thank you.
Thank you, Marissa. Great to see you.
When we come back, the doctor's in. Dr. Zorba Pastor is in the studio with us.
We'll be taking your calls at 270-9933. Call now, and we'll take your calls when we come back.
Well, a lot of folks starting to head home on your Monday. We are seeing more volume on a lot of the area roadways, but thankfully traffic is not too backed up as of yet. Where we are seeing slowdowns right now is, of course, the eastbound Beltline speeds right now anywhere between about 30 up to 50, and then down to 30 miles per hour once you get towards John Nolan again. Between Seminole Highway and Fish Hatchery, it's honestly moving pretty well in both directions right now. Downtown, so far, no major issues. If you brake lights showing up on outbound Park Street at the moment. Then, of course, across Dane County, we do still have a few areas that are dealing with some of the closed roads due to flooding. That's going to be up near Mazomanie and then down south of Verona. And, of course, we have several roads closed in the Lodi area as well. Guys?
All right, Chris, thank you. Dr. Zorba Pazrich here, taking your calls at 270-9933. Good to see you.
We have a couple lines open if you want to give Zorba a call. Nice to see you.
Good to see you guys.
And you've got something on your hand,
That's
too.
right. I had a trigger finger. That's where your fingers get stuck as they open up, so I had some surgery. And you've got something on your hand.
Yeah, you can sign mine. Mine's a fiberglass
a fall.
one.
You had a fall. Now, it's really important. Falls are a big problem. In Dane County last year, more people died from falls than died from murder and suicide combined. So falls are really important to try to prevent. And, you know, it's still slippery out there.
Yeah, all right. And I had the flu last week.
Right.
Influenza B. I went to the doctor. It was a positive result, and I got the shot.
That's right. Well, you know, you can get the shot. You'll still get it because sometimes the shot is not totally effective, but it'll be a lower case. We still recommend people get shots because it's important to keep that down. And there are a lot of other viruses. But, you know, one of the other things is if you got if your doctor then took a swab to see if you had influenza, the swabs don't always tell you if you have it. So if you have a high fever like you have, got to see your doctor and got to get checked out.
But if you got the flu shot, it did protect you from influenza.
It did protect you from getting even, and it does protect you, and your case won't be nearly as bad.
Yeah, I was sick, but, you know, 3 or 4 days. It wasn't like a good...
Yeah, it isn't like 2 weeks.
Right,
That's
and
right.
they put it on
Tamiflu. That's exactly right.
So
that really helps.
All right, we have some calls here. Let's start with Chad in Portage. Hi, Chad.
Good afternoon, guys. How you doing?
Okay, what's your question?
My question is it possible for your thyroid to correct itself? A few years ago, I was diagnosed with hypothyroidism, put on 125 micrograms of levothyroxine, and I'm just wondering if through diet or any other means, is it possible for the thyroid to correct itself?
Good question.
Well, if it's true hypothyroidism, the answer is no. You know, usually it's going to be that way for the rest of your life, and you're taking thyroid replacement. It's just like a diabetic taking insulin. Now, the important thing about this is sometimes people will have sort of borderline hypothyroidism, and sometimes if you take a repeat test, you don't really have low thyroid. So for those people, it did correct itself because the test was wrong. In other words, one test doesn't make it. But if you're on 125 mics of levothyroxine, sounds like you pretty much have it, and you have to take that medicine for the rest of your life. It's replacement.
Stay on the meds.
You bet.
All right.
All right, let's go to Don in DeForest. Hi, Don. What's your question?
Yeah, I got a question for Dr. Zorba Pazrich. Restless legs. What can you take to get rid of it?
Sure. Restless legs, big problem, especially when you're trying to go to sleep and your legs are moving all around. The best drugs are drugs that are actually used for Parkinsonism. The drugs we use for Parkinson's disease are very effective for restless leg syndrome, and I highly recommend it. We used to give quinine, but then in double-blind studies, it was showed that old treatment of quinine really didn't work. But the anti-Parkinson drugs really work, very effective, and I'd recommend you try them.
Okay,
Need a
great.
prescription, of course.
All right, let's go to Barb up in Sun Prairie. Hi, Barb.
Hi.
Hi, what's your question?
My question is, if you have calcium after I had a blood test, the calcium in your blood, does that have something to do with parathyroid?
Well, calcium, parathyroid is a parathyroid hormone in the body, is useful and very important for calcium metabolism. And part of the diagnosis is if the calcium is abnormal, and often we repeat that test to see. And then we also check actual parathyroid hormones. So it's important if you have that you get it double checked.
All right.
All right, let's go to Julie in Madison. Hi, Julie. What's your question?
Hi. My question is, do expectant mothers still have to be very cautious around children with measles?
If you have had measles, you don't have to worry because you actually have immunity to measles. If you don't know if you've had measles, that can be checked with a blood test from your doctor. And of course, many people certainly were immunized for measles years ago. The measles vaccine, MMR, measles, mumps, German measles, has been around. That vaccine's been around for about 40 years. One of the things we check for is German measles, which is rubella, and that's checked routinely for a mother when an expectant mother actually is pregnant to make sure that you're actually immune to that, and if not, it's very important to get treatment.
We thought measles were eradicated.
Well, measles was eradicated
now.
until we had a bunch of people who said, wait, I'm worried about the measles vaccine. It's going to cause autism, even though it's been proven not to cause autism. And the guy who goes around from England, who keeps on lecturing about it, gets $10,000 a lecture to talk about something that is scientifically untrue. Get immunized. All your children need full immunization to keep them healthy. Very important.
Don't fall off your soapbox. Kathy in Platteville. Kathy, go ahead. Kathy, you there?
Hi. I have a Baker cyst on the back of my leg. 4 years ago, I had a torn MCL, and that kind of corrected itself. Now I have a Baker cyst on the back of that same knee.
Right. We don't usually do surgery for that. That's where there's fluid in the back of the knee. Often it's physical therapy to get that knee nice and strong. That's the important thing to do. And then hopefully the cyst will get better. Sometimes there's surgery, but most of the time it'll get better by itself with physical therapy.
All right. Great questions, everyone. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you for calling today.
You get better. You
Yes.
get better. I'm getting better.
And you get better. We'll all get better.
We'll be right back with a final check of your forecast. We hit the average temperature. We like that.
We
finally.
really did, finally. And we're still at the average temperature as well. 40s for a lot of us here in south central Wisconsin. We'll cool down overnight tonight. Expect those lows to fall into the middle 20s at that. We might see some cloud cover out there, but it could be a pretty clear night for a lot of folks. Tomorrow, temperatures will make it into the upper 40s and gradually go in the positive direction from there, perhaps 60 by the weekend.
Nice.
Spring on Wednesday.
And spring on Wednesday.
All right, Chris, thank you. We've made it, hopefully. Coming up tomorrow here on Live at 4, many people take melatonin to help them sleep at night, but Consumer Reports says the dietary supplement does in fact have risks.
And do you have some leftover corned beef from St. Patrick's Day? Angie Horkin from the Beef Council will be here with some great recipes. That's coming up tomorrow on Live at 4.